Steven Jill here.
Hi.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show. Entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about what we consider a win and what we consider a loss. And I can almost guarantee we'll talk a little bit about what a real estate win is and a real estate loss is, and then we'll talk about the big picture, I hope.
And I can almost guarantee you're going to bring dating into this somehow.
And kids and relationships.
I'm sure of it. Cars.
This episode, every once in a while, we get done taping an episode, and I get in a lot of trouble. This episode has that potential. For the same way that...
well, it depends on if you call me a win or a loss.
For the same...
and then that's not fair.
For the same reason
How would you...
Some people get in trouble on the way home from a cocktail party for the stuff that they said.
That's not fair. You know what? If you throw somebody under a bus and you expect it to not come back,
It's not necessarily bus throwing. It's more like, I don't think, it's TMI. So anyway, let's see.
Okay.
Before we get into the topic, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Okay. Mark asks, "Hi guys, I got a signed offer back for this land parcel. However, it seems like the neighbor's house is partially within the said lot boundaries. Have you seen anything like this? How should I proceed? Thank you."
Great question.
Yeah.
That's technically called an encroachment, and very, very, very often, if you're looking at it on Google Earth, the overlay for the satellite videos are constantly 10, 20, 30 feet off. So if you're relying on that data just to make this statement, it's not reliable information.
I agree. That's what's going to be my first thing too.
And then, so if you use Parcel Fact, which is actually one of our companies that utilizes a Google Earth API also, what you want, if you're totally concerned about it, is to look at a plat map. And if you can overlay the plat map on the satellite, which you can do, this is technical stuff. Actually, Bay came to me and said she does this all the time.
Yep. Even
on our member.
There's different satellite versions that we get out there. There's paid versions and free versions, and most of us are using the free versions that are not as accurate as what's really available for, let's just say, the aviation community.
Yeah, that's a great example.
You have to know that it could be a little bit off. But like you just said, if you really wanted to know for sure, what you would do is get the GPS coordinates out of Parcel Fact, and you would walk out there and stand there with a professional GPS in your hand. Then you know you're.
Great suggestion.
Thank you.
A great cheap suggestion.
And that's really how you know. I always remember that. You ever notice sometimes like you're driving along the road and you're using a map function and it can't tell if you're on the freeway or the frontage road. That's why. And then it catches up with you. Like, oh, okay, now I know where you are. It catches up with you, and you need a minimum of, I want to say, 4 satellites and to be hitting, they're all over in the sky.
How the hell do you know this stuff?
Because I'm a pilot. I learned this.
It's making me a little turned on.
Thank you. You have to have a minimum number of satellites hitting your whatever device and everything. And again, the paid version is different than the free version to get a real accurate reading.
I don't have anything else to add.
Sorry.
And that's my favorite way to answer a question, like with no answer at all.
Thank you.
Jill just does it.
Thank you. So
hey, I have to say that. Are you done?
Yeah. I
have to say this, though. If you want to get really serious about it, you get a survey. So if you're looking at a piece of property we're going to buy for $4,000, $5,000, $8,000 and it's worth $40 or $50 or $80, $1,000 survey is now not out of the question at all.
Correct.
The first place I would start is planning and zoning and say, do you think there's an encroachment on this piece of property?
Yep.
And chances are they're going to say something like this: "We don't answer questions for schmoes like you. I'm not going to implicate myself in a lawsuit by actually answering this question. But why don't you call XYZ Survey over here and talk to Bob? He'll hook you up for $800 or $900 to go out there, probably 2-3 day turnaround, and you'll get a full report, which you're going to need, by the way, when you go to sell the property to the developer." Cool. That's the right way to do it and the expensive way to do it. That's what I would do. That's what we would do.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know what, though? Define expensive. It's the right, you spend a little money. This comes up a lot. Oh, I don't want to spend the money on that. I'm like, well, you know what? How much is this worth? Isn't it worth it to you to spend a little more money up front and not have a huge mistake on the back end? You need to know this stuff.
If you have a property that they purchased and it's got a survey complete and it's got a full-blown info report done, you're going to sell that property way faster than anybody else that has an info lot for sale. If anybody has anything for sale anyway.
Yep.
So you just want to do it right.
Thanks.
Today's topic, what we consider a win or what we consider a loss. This is the meat of the show. Jill, I know that you had all kinds of stuff that you wanted to say.
It was really just kind of running defense is what I'm trying to do.
That's code for me saying, I haven't prepared for this probably.
Yeah, thank you. What do I consider a win? Well, you know what? Well, it's easy to figure out the wins. There's black and white wins and losses. Well, I made money. Well, I lost money. Whatever it is.
That's a win.
Thank you. And then you fix it.
Can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
If we do a turn, a flip, and we make 10 grand, is that a win or a loss for you? That's a loss for me. 20.
It's still a win, depending on what my budget was, Stephen. What's a percentage?
So it's not
really
so
a
much
percentage.
Dollars. It's, you know what it is for me? Time.
It's true. Well, if I doubled my money at 10,000, it's a win. If I bought something for 80 and I wanted to sell it for 140 and I only sold it for 90, I would not really consider that a win.
Me too.
So that's really what you're trying to say. I understand. Yeah, I got my money back out of it, but shucks, I was swinging higher than that. I should have done better. I missed something, which is probably in that scenario. I sold it. I underpriced it or something. I don't know why.
So we have this machine in place, this acquisition and sales machine, and when we veer from that, or some stuff goes wrong, or I have to get involved, and the people that are doing all this for us need my help, that's a loss. Even if we're making 100 grand, and I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
So it's all about the machine for me. It's not so much the money anymore. It used to be all about the money, and that's it. How about like in Land Academy? What's a win?
Oh my gosh!
As a co-owner of Land Academy.
That's easy. What's a win is like what happened with Joe Martin recently. Hope it's okay to say that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
He's going to be on one of my next weekly. Wait, what's today? Today's Monday. He's going to be on my weekly live show this Wednesday. Anyway, so he quit his job, quit his lucrative job, because this is working out so well. For me, that's a win.
6-digit.
Yeah.
10+ year job or whatever.
Even the little things for me are a win. Like people saying, I didn't know this was possible.
That's a win for me too.
I
get a kick out of this Land Academy thing.
Paid off my car payment.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my gosh, that's a win. And it maybe just not the mortgage. Maybe I just paid off this credit card. It's been hanging over my head for 3 years. That's a win.
We don't talk about it a lot, but the fact is probably twice a week now we get some kind of email from a member who's been a member for a while that's no less than 10 pages that says, you guys changed our lives. My kids are doing X now. They were doing Y before and it was awful. My wife doesn't have to work anymore.
Yeah.
And because we don't roll like that.
Exactly.
This is not, we are, by the way, like anti-guru,
I know.
We don't talk about that.
I'm trying to be less and less. And I don't want to be in that category. I don't know how we can keep ourselves out of that category.
I don't think we can. Only by our behavior.
Well, I understand that. I was going to make a behavior joke, but it was
go ahead.
Separate from this. Speaking of behavior, just kidding. But yeah, you're right.
Like my behavior?
No, I'm just teasing you. You're right. No, and well, that's easy because what we do is very different. I mean, we're here.
Land Academy itself is a full-blown win. For me, it is.
Yep.
And when we started this, she drug me into filming it, and you couldn't have been more right. I couldn't have been more wrong because it's so fulfilling.
It is.
At my age, it's really interesting to see younger people be successful more than me.
Yeah.
Because financially, we're just done. We're done. I mean, we still do tons and tons of deals.
Yep.
So when it's hard to do a deal at this age, it's not about the money anymore. It's about just keeping the machine in motion.
Right.
That's a loss. When it's easy and it's just running in the background and you're watching the bank balance go up, that's a win. So it's not even like $10,000 versus $5,000 versus $150.
It's true. It's not about the bank balance.
Right.
It's about everything or all kinds of other things. Well, and some people, like for you, it's all business related, like you just said, right? For some people, I just think that I can relax a little bit. I think a win. Yeah. I know one person in particular in our group that for him a win is, oh my gosh, we have another month of all all of our all of our family expenses, they keep track of things based on how many months ahead they are. And they're probably 3 years ahead of all of their monthly expenses, like in the bank, in an account, ready to go. So
that's cool.
If everything stopped tomorrow, they can live just fine, make no changes for 3 years.
Yeah.
And that's their win. And just like, I think for him, it's not bank balance driven. It's just like, I can breathe and think about my family.
You know what's another huge win for me?
What's that?
Offers to owners. And I've been the company. So Jill and I own a company called offerstowners.com. Most of our regular listeners probably know about it by now. And this is not a plug. I'm just telling you, it's a huge win.
Right.
We have provided a full-time staff at our expense to get offers for everybody in the mail and get it done effectively and correctly the same way that we've been doing it for years. Yeah.
Make it easy.
So that company's doing really well financially.
The data, if you need data help, that's a one we don't talk about.
The people who work there are happy as heck. The customers are happy. We're happy with the numbers. We're constantly making it cheaper for our customers instead of making it more expensive. So that company itself has just been a huge win for us, and the revenue keeps going up. And we just keep getting more and more positive feedback from the people who are sending the mail out. You know, 2 years ago, we didn't have any of these tools.
Right.
ParcelFact itself is a massive win.
Right.
Nobody really works at ParcelFact. No one. And it's a free tool. And finally,
to members.
Yeah, to members. It's we finally gotten the costs under control where, you know, it's now it's like, okay, it's a win for me. Before it was like, geez, we're spending all this money providing this tool. I don't think people are appreciating it, but we've got it under control now, and it's really an effective tool to immediately find out where a piece of property is. So there's a lot of wins actually now that we're talking through it.
Can I talk to you about personal wins?
Yeah, sure.
Give me some of your personal wins. What's a personal win and what's a personal loss?
Where we live, you know, I love Scottsdale, and I spent a lot of time there, and we still go back there, but where we live now was a win. You know, we live in this, it's ridiculously expensive.
Can I say something about that? Sometimes you describe it to me as a loss because of that second part.
I just start thinking about money, and I'm like, oh my God. But then I really think about where we live, and we live in a little beach community where everybody cares, especially this time of year.
Santa went down the street.
The people who live there are throwing massive multi-million-dollar events for kids and things like that. So, you know,
giving back.
I grew up in a community like that in Michigan, a little tiny shore side community, and you know, I didn't realize how much I missed it until we moved here. But this is basically that community, but on the ocean, which is it's 10 times more expensive, and the weather's a lot better, which is probably why. But that's a win.
All right, what's a loss?
The kids are doing well. That's a massive win. Like, there's no better win than that.
What's a personal loss?
When there's a lot of time wasted. Like, I don't know. There's been a couple companies where I wasted 4 months on it, and it's not because there wasn't a demand for it. There's never a lack of demand for these tools that we kick out. There's just sometimes there's people that get involved that represent what they're capable of, and they're not capable of that at all. And that seems to be that I don't remember that happening when I was younger.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah, me too, but I don't remember it. In fact, maybe I was that person. I don't know.
That might have been. Oh, I got this. No, you don't.
Wasting time. There's no bigger waste of time. Putting a lot of time in a relationship, like a social relationship, or even, with kids, putting years in and they don't respond. They just don't. That's a massive loss, I think. That's a heartbreak.
I understand.
What's a personal loss for you?
I don't get a personal win. We can just jump into the ucky part. Jeez.
I know you have stuff to say on this.
No, I really wanted to know. I really wanted to sincerely know yours. That's why I was asking.
I mean, I could talk about this for hours. We don't want to do that.
No, I really don't. About the losses or the wins?
Both. Go ahead. What's a personal win or a loss for you?
A personal win for me is because of our situation. We work so hard to get where we are, and anybody can do this, by the way. I've learned that it just takes a lot of work, man. You got to show up all the time.
Well said.
And so now,
if you don't want to work, please don't show up. Save us all some time.
They won't show up. Don't worry, they're not here. So anyway, getting to the point where I don't have to worry. I'm thinking about that person. We're kind of that way. I just don't look at it that way. But, if the wheels stopped tomorrow, we could live comfortably for a long time. And I sleep really well because of that. The way we run our business, that's a win for me. And I sleep really well with that because I know that every day I'm making tough decisions, that in the end it's doing the right thing and being an honest, upfront, transparent person, which you're like, sucks, I got to come clean. I screwed up. Whatever it is, I have to take care of this. And you have to do the right thing. So because of all those things, I sleep well. And then it's a culture, I guess. And it's, I don't know if it's maybe a little off track here, but for me, the lifestyle and the way we live our life is a win. That's what I'm trying. That's how I'm going to tie it all in there. So, and then a loss for me is, it's almost a loss for me when someone snows me. That's a loss for me. I was just thinking, so I'm thinking if I trust someone and I believe in them and I think I made a good choice and I put him in this position, and I gave him something to do, and then they snowed me. And
they snowed you intentionally, or just didn't have any talent?
No, they snowed me intentionally.
Boy, I'd love to hear an example of that, because caveman in me comes out.
Oh, thank you. No, you do. You'll know about it if it happens, if it's a bigger deal. But for me, it's kind of a loss. Like, God, why was I feel like I failed.
Has that happened recently?
Trusting that person. No.
Okay, good.
Oh, no. So,
because I don't. If it happens recently, it hasn't gotten to me, and that's not good, because I need to know that stuff.
No, look, calm down. It's all right. Steven,
right.
We're cool.
All right.
Down, boy.
All right.
He's putting his boxing gloves on.
I don't know who would snow you.
No, it's just, and so it's me making a bet, like, oh, I chose wrong on that one. Then it's like, that's a loss for me. So mine are all, my wins and losses are spiritual, if you will.
Yeah, mine are money-based.
And that's
money-based and like performance and success-based, which is probably so psychologically unhealthy. Like expecting people to perform how you expect them to perform is probably like pathologically insane.
Yeah, because you're never going to really get it.
Yeah, you're never going to be happy
Exactly.
It's a good time to end this. Well, you've done it again. You spent another 15 minutes or so listening to the Land Academy show. Join us next time where we discuss outsourcing funding with Plum Investments.
Cool. And we answer your questions posted on our online community, landinvestors.com. It's free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition. Yeah, that could have gone on for a long time. I guess, you know what? As a listener, I would encourage you to just spend a few minutes considering what's a win and what's a loss, because you might be chasing the wrong stuff. I spent a whole decade chasing the wrong stuff.
That's true.
Before you.
That's a good one. We often fall into the keeping up with the Joneses, or we think that's what's expected of us, when in your gut it's a loss because you're like, I don't want to do this.
Just planning in the very beginning stages of planning this, like I don't know what would you even call it. It's a show for women with her two
show.
Very good girlfriends, like a help you kind of thing.
Yeah.
With the group and live events and the whole thing, and whether or not it ever comes to fruition, we're still not sure. I'm just doing stuff that she asked me to do, but I'm pretty sure it will.
Thanks.
That's a huge win.
That's going to be a big win. Thank you.
Oh, you don't want me to talk about it, do you?
No, you're all good. Hey, wherever you are listening or watching, please rate us there. We are Steve and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.